Greetings, weary traveler. Come, warm yourself by the fire, and let us regale you with mighty tales. Tales of adventure, tales of heroism, and tales of Tamriel. I'm your host, Arkhaniir, and welcome to episode 203. I'm joined by the founder, who almost refused to stop his bantering pre-show while we were about to go live. Aggelos, how's it going?
So yeah, this guy who's been working in the... Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot we went live. Hey, Ark, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
And here's my kitty from Elsweyr. Oh, no, she's attacking me! Stop it! No!
Well, you deserved it. See,
so it's a night blade.
So we are
Stealth
not
strike.
back with a full crew.
And then cat butt.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we are back with a full crew. Instead of Aggelos, we now have the Khajiit.
They finally.
Are you okay there, Ag? For anyone who's watching this in audio forms, Aggelos' cat just attacked him on the neck and threw him off his chair. So the cat is now taken over Aggelos' chair.
I did like how the cat just got directly into center cam behind the microphone.
Yeah.
She knows what she's doing.
I mean, after all these years bothering you while you are trying to record, I guess she'll learn how it works.
I wouldn't be surprised if she knew how to actually start the stream.
Well, we are also joined by our dedicated Extra Life charity streamer, Lotus of Doom. How's it going?
Things are well. Things are very well.
Well, that is good to hear. And joining us, the resident Argonian himself, Promethean. How's it going?
Good, I'm doing well. I just hit a lag spike for a second though, so that's fun.
He erects the spine of welcome.
Oh.
I have to now that's gonna be a thing every show from here.
Well, it
I don't know.
better be.
Or the spine of internet issues like we run into.
Yeah. No, I don't know if I really want to erect that one because that would be that's probably not good luck.
Well,
Never
I mean,
mind.
if we run into issues, it will just be any other episode. So
Yeah, that's true.
We'll figure out a way to get over
Yeah.
that. So give me 1 second. All right, my throat is a bit, well, it's not cooperating for the podcast, so every now and then I'd have to mute myself and do the not so good sound. So whenever I do that, one of you will have to take over.
Fair enough.
Okay.
All right. So before we begin, we have a couple things. We have a new Patreon supporter, which I forgot to shout out last week. I'm
Jamie
sorry.
Knowles!
Jamie Knowles, okay, that's... Well,
It's a
I
new
didn't
one.
have that in my notes, but...
Nailed it.
This is the one part of the notes that you need to update, Ag. This is one part I cannot reach.
I thought I did.
No. I have Eron
Awesome.
Wright in my notes from last week. But there
Well,
we
that's
go.
just it.
Both
I
of you-
updated it last week and you didn't do it, and that's what it was.
So now there's two.
So yeah, so now there's two. But thank you so much, both of you. Much appreciated. And as Ag always says, it helps keep the metaphorical torches lit. Although I'm starting to think Ag has actual torches in his house at this point. But
And also remember, be sure if you are a supporter on Patreon or Twitch, make sure you join our Discord channel and link your Patreon and Twitch to your Discord so you gain access to our DCN supporters channel where you gain access to all of our shows at least 24 hours ahead of time. And for the From the Ashes show, you get access to an exclusive post show that we don't release to anyone else.
we really need to start doing those for Tales of Tamriel as well.
Yeah.
The
I'm
main
down with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
to start doing that, I'd have to get you guys to not start your banter until we do the audio test, so I don't have to stop recording.
Well, what we do, and a little preview for the From the Ashes show, we sometimes carry on conversations that were continued in the podcast but cut due to time, such as if we covered the majority of a topic, but there's a few little things we wanted to pick up, but weren't necessarily creating a succinct show. We cut those out, leave them the post show. And sometimes we don't even cover shows about Ashes. We talk about anything that's going on the internet right now. Right. It's really kind of a very generalized, kind of sticking with gaming themes, but that's what we talk about.
Well, so you are trying to keep the Ashes of Creation confined to like 1 hour, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's the problem with us Tales of Tamriel. We just continue until everyone is too sleepy that we can't continue.
That's
so
pretty much it. We go until there's literally...
included, yeah.
That's what we'll do. We'll do a 2-hour show, and then we'll just cut it halfway through, and you have to subscribe to get the second half. Behind the paywall, taking a line from Bethesda there.
Gems to get the rest of the podcast.
Low blow.
Funny though.
No, I agree.
I don't disagree, but
me either.
Look,
I will never have enough
front, and as long as we don't put it in loot boxes, it's fine.
Oh, that's what we could do. You can
don't know which
access it, but you have to wait
to?
6 hours.
Oh, I was going to say, I would just put it in, and you don't know which podcast you get the extra thing to. It's just a loot box of all the random
loot box. No, we'll take a key out of their thing where our blades, where we'll just put it into a container, but you can only open it every 6 hours. So,
ooh, a gold quality chest.
Yeah.
Fancy.
Of course. I mean, we might not be the Elder chest, but we are at least gold.
Yeah,
at least
we're definitely better than silver.
At this point,
almost
with the 1 hour timer, I mean, throwaways.
I mean, if you consider it, like, our shows are almost 2 hours, which means it's not even like worth your time to spend it on a 1 hour chest. So like,
yep,
it levels out.
Also, this is from a couple weeks ago, but I forgot to put it in the notes. So our iTunes review, if you remember from the previous episodes, the iTunes review system was messed up. At least according to Aggelos, because I don't have an iPhone to check it out.
They do have it fixed now.
It was for a while.
Fixed.
So it was apparently all out of order, but it is fixed. So we can read the reviews once again, which is exactly what I'm going to do now. So this is from all the way back from March 8th, from Brandroid. Ooh, it's that crackling again.
Yeah, I'm getting static too. And, of course, nailing it.
So do you have an idea who the crackling static is coming from?
I didn't hear it, so I'm assuming it was me.
Oh no.
It is possible. I assume you don't have your usual microphone with you then?
No, I do.
Oh.
It might just be the connection you're on where you are.
Connection related, I bet.
Okay. Well, we can figure something out for all that. Because as long as there are people, as long as one of us is talking, it will get buried under the noise, and I can do something with it in editing. And for when we are not talking, I can just get rid of it completely. So we'll figure something out in the post editing. It's fine.
Okay.
So yeah, this is from March 8th, Brandroid. 5 stars. What a great cast of guys dishing out dope episodes each week, for the most part. Always love to hear from the guys at Dungeon Crawler. I really agree with the for the most part. That is
yes. That is probably very on point.
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah.
Every now and then, yeah, it's. Well, we came to accept Tales as if you don't have any issues, there is something wrong.
Yes,
for sure.
That in and of itself is a problem if there are no problems.
Yeah, see, yeah, that there
Some
we go.
people just like to watch the world burn. That's
it. And it's apparently us.
It's us.
And this is from March 19, Miss Sprudgy. I'm pretty sure I read that wrong, but another 5-star. I love you guys' content. I am only on episode 23. So I have a long way to go, but that is fine with me. I own my own 2 companies, so listening to this podcast allows me to feel like I'm playing the game even though I don't get to actually play often. I always wish I would be able to join you guys in game, but I play on Xbox One. Please keep up the awesome work. It makes my days easier. Well, thank you so very much. And I have to tell, you are on the best episodes. The early episodes with Taze, they were the best.
The readings?
So, oh yeah. You are on like the peak times of Tales of Tamriel, in my opinion. Back when I was a listener as well, so.
We actually have an email from I'm trying to find it. It's an email from somebody who's listening and they're only on episode like 5. I would read it now, but they'll be there forever. So
well, if you want, you can read it if you can pull it up.
Yep, give me a second, I'll pull it up.
All right.
It'd be kind of funny when they finally get to this episode if they're actually listening chronological order.
That's assuming they make it through 203 episodes.
Yeah.
Come on,
I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure they will make it to like 70s, 80s. But once Taze stops, I don't know if they'll continue. Like, they might be like, oh wait, this is now just filler.
Yeah, that's actually accurate. I wouldn't blame them for it.
I mean, I almost stopped listening, and then I ended up as a co-host. So I guess that's some elaborate strategy Ag pulled, but.
All right, found it. This is actually from Rose Mackey. Says, hey there, I've been listening to your first podcast, The Start of the Journey. My goodness. Really enjoy it, but I have a question. Listening to you, I wonder how to keep people interested in dark anchors, debate travel versus teleports, and other observations. Wishes and speculation make me want to know immediately what your thoughts are after 5 years. If you've already addressed this in the podcast, could you let me know which one? I'd like to listen to them in juxtaposition. No trees were killed in the sending of this message. However, a large number of electrons were terribly inconvenienced.
That's a great outro.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Honestly, we've covered this in so many, but I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah,
which ones? I want to address it from the dark anchors. Oh yeah, we could do that. Dark anchors. I've said this from the past. They need to have a super rare chance to drop crown crates.
I think that'd be really cool.
That would do it.
Like a 0.5%, 1% chance, like really stupid low.
Kind of like the what is it? The ethereal.
Oh, the ethereal dust.
No, there's the one that you need to make
the cipher.
The cipher. Yes, thank you. The etheric cipher.
Yeah. It could be really low. I'm talking single-digit percentages here, and that would have had me doing dark anchors all the time. Anytime they're up, I'd be out there doing it for the chance of getting a crown crate.
Difficulty scaling for dark anchors. Like, make it difficult. If I'm champion 108, 810, and there's like 10 of us, the dark anchor should get more difficult. Like, because it's too easy now. I love dark anchors in the early game, because if you tried to solo them, you would actually be in trouble, like real trouble, because everyone was low on gear, nobody really knew what they were doing, no one was maximum level. Those were the best times of dark anchors. Now I can just solo any of them, like even on a newly created character, because of the champion points and because of my gear that I crafted with my main character. So
agreed.
It's boring. I
actually during the PvP Cyrodiil event thing for the 5-year anniversary, when I was in Bruma, a lot of people were just like doing everything like that, and everybody's very concerned about being ganked, and I have no concept of self-preservation. So I was like, ooh, Cold Harbor stuff for when I'm normally or Cold Fire, I mean. Cold Fire supplies for when I'm actually PvPing, like the reason I'm usually in Cyrodiil. So I would run over and just solo it in Cyrodiil when people would try to gank me, and I'm just like, nah, whatever. And then I would notice people would join in, and it would go from me sort of needing to pay attention to completely like I can put the controller down and make a sandwich, and like
Yeah.
these things will die before I like actually pass away not responding. So I would definitely be a fan of a difficulty spike to them.
And the thing is, they did difficulty spikes in previous expansions. Remember the Rothgar world bosses? Any of the
Those
world
are
bosses?
still brutal
Tough.
to try to solo.
Yeah.
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 I
You have
think
to have
those are the
a
hardest
really
ones.
sustainable build.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
the unfinished dolmen. Good God, that is awful to try to do by yourself. That is so brutal.
Normal dolmens should be like a. Why is an unfinished dolmen is that
Harder than a
difficult?
finished
While a
dolmen?
finished dolmen is like. why are you
Touche.
finishing
Blew
these
my mind.
dolmens?
Yeah, touche, Ark.
Well, it's kind of like they did it with the delves too. Like they didn't necessarily make them harder, but they made them all bigger, and it just takes me like now
Yes.
5 minutes as opposed to like a minute and a half to
Yeah,
get through
just
them all.
sprint in, sprint out
See,
type of thing.
Right.
that is exactly the problem with the dragon fights that I found in PTS. They are not necessarily more difficult. They are just longer.
Okay.
Then again,
Oh.
I don't think you can solo them. At least there is that. But if you have 5 people, it's not because everybody keeps respawning anyway. So they are
Right.
just
Yeah, it is
more.
hard when
They
you
are
just-
longer fights. But I'll have to wait and see it in live before I can make a final comment on that. But yeah, dolmens.
There needs to be a hard fail condition too. Not just no one's there to do it. If someone doesn't do something, they
that would be
go away.
interesting. Like you have to do something in order to succeed. It's not a war of attrition.
Kill it.
Where
Mhm.
if you can hold out, you just win.
They
Which-
summon little guys to the little anchors to repair them. If they let all 3 of them up there or whatever, it finishes.
Sure.
Oh,
Which
that would
within-
actually be fun.
that would be really cool.
You know, like from
Oh.
time to time, they'll summon these things, and you have to kill them as well as close the dark anchors. They'll reopen them, and if all 4 are up for, I don't know, 2 minutes, if they can keep that thing going for 2 minutes, the dark anchor ends, and you lose.
I would like that actually have just like fail states that theoretically would make it so you would want to organize groups. Because I mean, I posted this a little while ago. There's the 2 world bosses from Murkmire. There's Walks Like Thunder, who is just a regenerating health douchebag, which is really the only reason that guy's difficult. Because the pillars regenerate him so much, and as a tank, I don't have the DPS to get around the map and wipe those things quick enough. So I really can't solo him. And then there's the guy with the X in his name. He's the necromantic summoner.
Backsolker.
Thank you. And when I was trying to do my dailies, I was on early in the morning. It was like 6 a.m. because I was getting ready for work. And I was like, oh, I'll just run these while I was trying to complete my dailies.
Mm-hmm.
And he's supposed to overwhelm you with ads. Well, most ads aren't going to kill me. It's pretty much one-shot mechanics that are going to kill me. So I was like, well, I'll just take him out myself and somebody will show up. Nobody showed up for 18 minutes and 7 seconds because I beat the boss in the end. And I'm like, there was really no chance. Like, as long as I didn't screw up, I could not lose. It was solely whether I messed up and just stopped healing myself or something, because that dude wasn't going to kill me. It'd be neat if there was some threat that I couldn't actually beat it by myself if I just wore him down.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The next question they brought up here was debate of travel versus teleports. I can tell you one thing. Once you start unlocking all the way shrines, the game feels so much smaller.
Very much so.
Like exponentially smaller. What I would like to see in the future is when they release a new zone, there's one waypoint into the zone. That's it.
That would be neat. I mean,
well, isn't it technically like that at the beginning until you run around
At
the
the
entire
beginning,
zone?
Right.
Yeah, but it
I
the
actually
reason why
don't
it
like
makes it
that
a pain-
idea.
well
Because
you
I mean,
could be
sometimes. No, but here's the thing. Sometimes I don't have time to run around. I have to use the way shrines.
wrong. Okay.
Like I only have, let's say, 1 hour of game time, and I have to do I have to do quests. You know, or I have to. If I can't use the way shrine, half of the time will be spent running around because the map is actually massive. If you don't use the way shrines, it's actually massive.
Mm-hmm.
So with this is kind of a weird thing to me. It's like some people get like mods in Skyrim and stuff like that to like disable fast travel.
Yep.
And I've always been like, well, why don't you just not fast travel? I mean, people can play however they want. It's a single player thing. You do you. But I'm just like, a lot of times I prefer not to fast travel. When I'm doing story and stuff like that, I'm just perusing around. Like I've been wandering around Murkmire for 3 weeks while I complete a dead zone. I liked just doing that. However, if I'm doing a repeatable, i.e. like the world boss dailies or delve dailies in Murkmire, I don't want to walk over there. I want to go over there and nuke it as fast as possible so I can do something different. So, but again, that's kind of on my choice whether I decide to walk around or if I decide to teleport to the thing just to get it done with.
I mean, if you want to walk around but don't have the willpower to not use the way shrine, that's your problem. Don't put that on us lazy people. We deserve our laziness options.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of fall in the middle. Like, I won't pay the cost to way shrine from wherever. I just run back to the way shrine and use it because it's free at that point. So I just end up like in that middle ground. So I do a lot of both. It's just I just gotta save all the gold because I never have any. But like, I don't know. That still makes the game feel pretty big. Like even just running around like that.
Oh yeah.
That halfsies.
I mean, like my most recent Skyrim playthrough, I don't use fast travel, and I have all the mods like Frostfall, whatever, the extreme weather, camping, things like that. And it's a whole different gameplay, but that's Skyrim. That's something I sit down and play for hours.
And why is this
in an
any
immersive
different?
way? Because as Lotus said, there are dailies, there are repeatables that you need to do, and for me, Elder Scrolls, the difference Elder Scrolls Online has from other Elder Scrolls games is that I log into Elder Scrolls Online, even if I have very little time, I do, let's say, just one battleground, one dungeon, one quick quest, whatever, things like that, and log out if I don't have time. I don't do that for
one
Skyrim.
Dragonstar Arena.
Yeah. I mean, if
single
I
dragon star.
just if I have a little time of couple hours, yeah, why not?
But that's just it. If you treat it that way, you assign stuff that you can do. Okay. The problem is this user choice. You're right. It is a user choice, but it's not, because human nature is that you're going to take the path of least resistance. If it wasn't there, you wouldn't actually have that issue, and you would actually go and explore everything.
Yeah, but why am I not taking that path of least resistance in Skyrim?
I have no idea.
Maybe because you can save at any point. I'm actually not too sure either. Like, I mean, to some degree,
single-player games are different, though.
And I guess maybe that's just it, because I am, as I've said before, I am not an MMO. This is the only MMO I've ever played for more than a half an hour. This is the only MMO I assume I'll probably play for quite a while. And I know there's differences between this isn't just like a copycat single player Elder Scrolls game. It's definitely got plenty of MMO influences. But when I'm questing or whatever, I totally play this game exactly like I do Skyrim, Morrowind, Oblivion. Like I just roam around out in the fields. Like I didn't even know they were achievements until I had ripped the legs off of one of the swamp jellies, and there's an achievement for like breaking all the horrible monster flowers in Murkmire, and you have to like sneak up on them. I didn't even do that for a purpose. It just eventually popped an achievement while I was like breaking their limbs. Look at these stupid things I can interact with. Like, so it definitely seems like a play style choice where if we're doing dungeons or whatever, I'm just like, okay, let's pour it in, get this, done,
Get out.
or whatever. But if it's just me questing, I'm roaming around with no direction and generally forgetting what I was starting with.
I mean, most of my time in Elder Scrolls Online is spent actually doing nothing but just jumping around or riding a horse to a random direction while, I don't know, watching Netflix or whatever. So I do run around, explore things anyway. It's just that if I'm focused on something, I like to be able to use the way shrines. And Shloshi in chat brought up a good point. Could you imagine doing Sijic quests without fast travel? I didn't even do them with fast travel.
Could you imagine not finishing a DLC in 2 hours and actually having content in the game to play?
That's, yes, for new zones, like Murkmire, I probably got about 9-10 hours worth of play out of, but I also walked everywhere because that to me is just better.
I feel like it's more doable with the smaller zones. Like with Murkmire and Clockwork City, it's easier to maybe have that one way shrine, but to go into like a chapter setting and only have one, I think would be slightly more challenging. Even for people who like enjoy walking around.
True, yeah. For example, Dark Brotherhood. You have to grind to get the quests, right? You have to grind Dark Brotherhood ranks to actually do the story quest, which I haven't completed yet because of that specific thing. Imagine every single time you take a quest from Dark Brotherhood, you have to run back there instead of teleporting to that way shrine that is right next to the sanctuary. I mean, I wouldn't even begin to do that quest line if that was a thing. Right now, what I can do is I take the quest, I teleport to where the quest is, do the quest, and teleport back to the way shrine, take another quest, teleport back. Now, if I had to run out and run back every time, that would be... at first, it sounds like a good idea, but after a while, it would become so tedious. It would turn into a grind on its own, just getting from one place to another. Because you explore it one time, okay, you explore it a second time, and you see things that you have missed the first time. But after a while, it will be like commute. Like, you'll be commuting in Elder Scrolls Online to your quest and back.
All right, I got a, what do you call it? Devil's advocate thing here.
Right.
Let's see what if just for the sake of it, we say, because again, I'm kind of a mixed bag between what I like to do and just interesting ideas. What if, on the idea of Ag's thing, to kind of let people not just blitzkrieg through storyline, what if the way shrines existed but are only unlocked upon completing the story, like the main quest of the region? Because most of the time you don't even get your repeatables, or at least some of the repeatables, until you've completed that anyways. What if you move all of the repeatables to the end of the thing and you get the repeatables and way shrine access once you complete the main story?
But okay, would you have to do that on every character, or would you kind of
and sell them for crowns
now?
Yeah, they'll sell it for crowns.
Oh, sorry, that was too easy.
no, that's exactly where I was going with this. So.
Yeah, no, like would
Talk
they
about low hanging fruit?
Well, to be fair, like, since I'm like, we had that discussion last time, since I'm not necessarily against people having the option to buy the achievements once you've done it the first time, I'm very adamant you have to do it once.
Yeah.
Once you prove you can do something, I'm fine with it. Like, whatever. And if the journal is going to be separated per character, like it is, that's fine. If that's what you want to do, more power to you, I guess. I not for me, but I'm sure they will make a fortune on it. So, but yeah, regardless of that situation, I was just curious what people's take would be on that, because then it would almost like make you explore the zone, and it's kind of weird to force people to settle down and just literally smell the roses in some sections. But I'm curious if that would annoy people, or if it might just make them realize what's in the game that they're kind of just bypassing.
Yeah.
It would annoy a lot of people, because see, here's the thing: if Elder Scrolls Online player base only consisted of people who play it because it's an Elder Scrolls game, or because of the lore, because of the world, like some of us, it would be fine. But a lot of people playing Elder Scrolls Online because it's also a great MMORPG, and they really don't care about the story or the world. They like to PvP. They like to do stuff like that. So they are really.
I'm an MMORPG player, and I would say it is not.
Well, you're
MMO.
a hardcore Elder Scrolls fan as well, in addition to being an MMORPG player.
I am, but it's not a good MMO. It is actually a very poor MMO.
Yeah, it's designed for us.
No.
Like
an MMO
people
requires like cooperation within players. It actually MMOs are meant to be this living, breathing, vibrant world that you're supposed to work together in an adventure with other players. 99% of the time, you don't even need other players for anything. And in some cases, it actively discourages you from doing so, such as using the automated group finder rather than finding guildies to go with, because the rewards are better for dungeons that are so simple you could probably solo anyway.
Right.
It's not saying it's a bad game. I'm saying it's a bad MMO.
I was looking at it from a perspective that, you know, you can PvP, you can do end game trials, whatever, things like that. So there are a lot of people who are not after the story or the world or the exploration, but after doing the end game content or going into Cyrodiil or battlegrounds and smash people to death in the best way possible and rank up in the leaderboards, things like that. There are a lot of people like that as well, and I don't think they really care about running around exploring things, but instead they just want to get the quest, skill line, skill points, whatever the zone is giving them as an advantage in combat, and get out, be done with it.
That's the majority of my PvP guild. They literally don't. I don't think most of them know what the story is. They're just like, it doesn't matter. If it doesn't give me a skill line, I'm literally not getting it.
But so
doing it or whatever.
Like,
and it's like such a waste.
Okay. I know, and that's my thing. I'm like, oh man, I was like, really?
This is like one of the best narrative MMOs out there.
Seriously.
Yeah, so as many people that play the game, don't you think you already have to be inclined to pick up an Elder Scrolls game aside from it being an MMO? Because I don't feel like there's an overlap for people. There are so many other MMOs out there that you could grab. Why would you grab an Elder Scrolls one that's kind of obscure, kind of has this player base?
Well,
I'll tell you right now. There's a lot of options, but I'll tell you right now why people would do that. One, the MMO market is in one of the worst shapes it's been since it came out.
Yep.
All we're really getting is a bunch of really, really crappy Korean MMOs and stuff like that. So are indie titles, which we cover a lot of indie titles. Indie titles don't have the money. Why would you not want to go to a company, one of the few AAA companies with multi-million-dollar budgets that can actually spend and make a good game and hire people who actually have, experience rather than the college kid who's never worked a job because he'll work for nothing? That's why people will flock to this game, because it's a AAA MMO out of the West, because there's really only like two, legitly there are only like two that haven't been corrupted or taken to this weird free-to-play garbage crap. It's pretty much this, World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14 are legitly your only AAA MMOs out of the West that have a population that actually matters.
Well, for me,
strange.
Yeah, I won't play World of Warcraft because it's been, 12, 13 years now of World of Warcraft?
Longer than that.
Yeah, and didn't they just have like their 15th anniversary?
Yeah, I guess. I think so. And, one thing, it never appealed to me, the World of Warcraft. And it's old. I'm not good with playing old games. It just doesn't appeal to me. And Final Fantasy, it's Japanese. Now, I may have learned Japanese, got my certificate and all. I do not like Japanese games. I just don't. I hate them.
Yep.
So, the only remaining option for me is Elder Scrolls Online, and I think that's the same with a lot of people. They get burned out. And even recently, like, Shroud was playing Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, I've seen, his first VMA clearly got the
Inferno
staff. I was like, what?
Streamer luck.
Even Outcast made a joke on it. I saw his thing pop up, and Drew was like, "What? Are you serious?"
Last week, just last week, there's been I don't remember their names, but there's been massive streamers playing Elder Scrolls Online for the first time. I don't know if ZeniMax Online went out and did a secret marketing.
No, they paid.
Well,
probably because
Shroud actually liked the game and
yes, I think Shroud used to play.
Yeah, I've heard he plays in spurts. He just doesn't consistently play. It's just,
his main thing is battle royale, so it's
and Fortnite is apparently I don't play, but apparently from everybody that I'm friends with that does, Fortnite is in a bad place right now. So I think that's probably why that's probably why they're looking maybe elsewhere for the time being.
PUBG was banned in China.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, they can't get it through.
Yeah,
interesting.
China has crazy laws that makes releasing anything there near impossible. They're like, you can't have loot boxes, it can't promote violence. There are so many laws. They just can't get around it at one point.
They actually now have a commission in place where they only allow, I think it's something like 2,000 games to be released every year, and that includes little browser games count as a game. Every year, this commission will only review 2,000 games for release to the Chinese.
Well, I mean, I guess
of loot boxes,
at least we won't be getting more than 2,000 Chinese MMOs now. So.
Well, no, they can release inside their own country. They just won't take anything outside.
Oh, man.
Because everyone who's within their own country already has to follow those guidelines.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, so I think that's why we should have way shrines. How did we?
It's like, wasn't this a way shrine discussion? How did we get here?
Welcome to the Tales of Tamriel post show. I hope you've enjoyed.
Really quick, I just figured I'd bring this up, and Ark, this doesn't affect you. Well, it might actually. For those of you U.S. listeners, they recently have pushed the ban on boxes on games with minors in them. He's seeing that, so I'll try and follow that and give you guys some updates on that because I'm really interested in that.
So, I read about it.
Yes, because that theoretically would affect. I mean, this game those were added at a much later date into its lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
What?
But
I'm sorry.
I mean, those would they can easily just be like, okay, crown crates aren't a thing.
Gone.
Like if that was or whatever.
Yeah, but pass it. Well,
Belgium has already banned it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the one thing they might have going for them is that it's an M game, which means you already have to be 18 to buy it.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I don't. I mean,
it's going to get weird to see how that goes. But it's certainly an interesting thing that could have almost like a tangential effect on ESO, but not nearly as direct as some other games.
Yeah. But I thought that was just interesting that you pointed out loot boxes. So
but that's like, as you said, doesn't it say we are banning loot boxes in games directed, aimed for or targeted for minors? So it's I don't think
but it's also
AAA games
if there's I think it was also if there's a notable substantial player base, even if it's not targeted towards minors.
You also got to remember a lot of these laws are being made by 50, 60, 70-year-olds who think all games are for kids.
Right.
That is true.
And just on a note of just the legalese of the situation, because this is an M-rated game, which Elder Scrolls games have been M-rated for a while now, since they had to reissue a rating on Oblivion when it turned out the ESRB didn't play the Dark Brotherhood and was like, "Oh, mother of God, how did we do this?" Because
stab him in the face. What?
It's funny. Spoilers for, I guess, the Dark Brotherhood area where you find the killer and his sanctum of hands at the end. If you have one of the collector's editions, which I have on my shelf back there, but if you have the collector's edition that came in the cardboard box and it's got the coin in it, the Imperial Septum, it'll be rated T, which are the versions that are actually T rated because those were produced at launch. All others were then recalled, and now they're all M rated because it had to get re-released with an M rating after that got leaked. But the legalese part was just M-rated games, you can play an M-rated game before you are legally allowed to gamble. So anything shy of an adults-only AO-rated game wouldn't be high enough to allow it. So
in the US, M is 17. Gambling age is 21.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then...
Actually, is it 21? It might be 20, but most gambling facilities also sell alcohol, so therefore you can't
so
gamble.
it's also 21, yeah.
It actually breaks down even further and it gets more confusing. But
it's a mess.
Yeah, it's a wreck. Don't worry about it.
So it's going to be a coin toss as to what actually happens when this is passed or declined.
If it's passed, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think it will depend on like how good your legal department is and how many loopholes they can figure out.
Well, Bethesda might be in some hot water with a good legal department, so
yeah, like they need any more legal issues.
But yeah, I mean, as a final note, I suppose, because we've been at this for 50 minutes now. As a final note, because China has very strict laws on games and what they can do and show, the way shrines should stay.
No, way shrines should be removed because they encourage minors to spend their money frivolously. So
you're just wasting your gold. All acceptors are not. They should be put in the savings bank.
Yeah,
you should carry around Tithis with you all the time.
So do we have another more questions in the mail?
No, that was it. But to see the rest of this episode, you'll need to subscribe to us at patreon.com/dungeoncrawlnetwork or twitch.tv/dungeoncrawlnetwork in order to access the next half of this episode. Thank you so much.
No.
I'm splitting it in half and it's going behind a paywall. It sounded
so final, and we all stayed quiet because it would have
then Ark said no.
I know, he gave me a perfect spot. No, I know exactly where to cut the episode.
We still
it into two.
See, for everyone, we still haven't gotten past the introductions section of the show.
Were there any other
8 sections in this show.
Because that was an email off a review.
Yeah, this is introductions. Like the
God.
We have
Thank God some of us don't have tails.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And when I woke up today at like 3 a.m., I was like, you know what? Let's do it. I think we'll do a short show.
That's what I'm saying. We better just cut it here. We'll pick up everything else next week.
No. We got a show to do. But Ag, do not forget to reply to the person who sent... Oh, okay. All right. Well.
I mean, we've been at it for 50 minutes. I have plenty of time to type.
Honestly, that spurred like a pretty solid discussion from that email.
Yeah.
I mean, that I would normally joke about us derailing. That actually wasn't really that derailed. It was just kind of all encompassing to several things.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't technically derail. We answered an email. That's right. It doesn't count.
We were in the mailbag section.
Also, I enjoy that we're justifying that we can stay on top just to make ourselves feel better.
We stood on topic. Didn't derail.
Floshy has a great thing here. We should talk about it. Let's talk about the different guar variants.
Yes, I agree.
I'm behind this.
We have a show to do. Okay?
Yeah,
because of the laws in China. Because of the laws in China, we cannot talk about guar variants. So that's not good.
I'm pretty sure China would allow it because I'm sure they could actually monetize the different guar. And it'd be okay.
I'm a big fan of the bantam guar, the little chicken.
Oh, the little chicken guar?
Bantam guar, yeah. I like the red circus guar with the painted guar because he's cute.
Was he that one right before Rich needed to get a tattoo? Was that our gift prior to him?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the flamey one. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Sijic one's cool too with all the little glowing tattoos. Yeah.
Wait, you guys are all cutting out. Hold on, one second. Is this
Trying to silence us and our guar hood.
let me mute you all for 1 second.
Mute you real quick.
I'm gonna pull a Super Troopers and try to squeeze guar in anything. You know how fast you're going now, guar?
Well, okay, let's move on. We have a show.
Hold on,
have a
I gotta
show.
take care of chat because I see a hashtag all guar must die.
Oh,
So
Damn it,
Yes,
pretty
James,
sure
Oh,
he's just timed out.
savage. For 600 seconds.
he is now unbanned. Remember,
For anybody
Ag,
not
you
on the
gave
live
me
show, there
power.
is currently a timeout for abuse
Hold
of guars.
There we go. Even better.
Oh man.
What did you do?
Arkhaniir is no longer a mod.
Oh man! Oh no, I still have my sword. You couldn't do it.
No,
you're
you
gone.
don't.
Your sword is gone in mine.
Oh, hold on, how do I?
Oh.
Oh yeah, it's gone. Ban Dungeon Crawler Network.
Yep.
Yeah, it didn't work.
It's ruined. Oh man.
Ah.
You tread too close to the sun, Ark.
Icarus lost his wings.
Okay, well. And in this case, just I guess you are taking over Tales of Tamriel again to do the show every week.
I have all the power. Tales of Guar. That's what we're doing. We're set.
And this is where the guar
See-
wars begin.
This is, this is what I get. This is what I get. I do the show every week. I wake up, I edit it, and then I get my sword taken away from me. For guars too. Not even
Yeah.
a worthy cause, just for random, ugly, unnecessary, irrelevant guars.
See,
Such
I
is the
should have
life
done
of being
a
a host.
background research of you, because if I would have known you were an altmer, I would never have done this in the first place.
Well, if I've known you
User
were an
error.
Altmer, I wouldn't have
User error.
started listening to this show in the first place.
Ooh. All
You are
right,
lucky.
Ark.
You are lucky. You had TESO on the show at first.
The guar break has begun.
Okay,
That-
well, let's.
everyone's gonna have to mark this down. 203, the Guar break. That is
Yes.
when the show
Beginning
split.
of the guar wars right now.
The only difference is Ark only has a few people in chat. I think all the hosts are pro Guar, so
I am
I am pro like one guar, which is the little bantam guar.
I am.
So I think that I'll give it to you guys. I'll give it to
Yeah.
the group.
he's,
mean-
he's no Guar. So
I'm very pro guar.
Yeah,
Arkhaniir goes around
Use
and
the cult
kicks
of the Guar.
Bantam Guars.
My
Yeah.
No,
my
I
next
don't.
emote on my personal
No,
screen
no,
is
hold on, hold on.
going to be
Hold
a
on, this
guar.
is-
Hey,
I
this
have
is
to-
part of the Guar Wars. I have to spread propaganda.
I have to respond to this wild accusation. I don't go around kicking Bantam Guars. I just smash them with a
kill
warhammer.
them.
Even better.
It's
You don't even need propaganda. He's not
Yeah, I
even
know.
trying it.
He writes it
I'm
himself.
I'm not
severe
hiding.
enough.
I'm not hiding anything, okay? Also, it's a mercy kill. If you kick it, it's just gonna get
I
hurt.
mean, like,
If
but
you
they're like
smash
little
it with a
chickens.
great warhammer, it's just gonna splat and it's done. It's,
You just pushed him over to our side. Promethean is like 100% behind the Guar banner now.
But they're like little chickens. Like you really would you go and just like mash chickens?
They
Yeah,
even
they-
have little
see,
chicken wings.
Here's the thing. I always say guars are a mix of variety of creatures in which you have chicken. Bantam guar is just the result of a different equation, same formula with just different amounts. So the chicken gene was just a tad bit too much in Bantam guar, so it turned out to be a little chicken thing. But with, for example, a normal guar, the lizard, or I don't know, a raptor gene was a bit too much, so it turned out like that. You know, so it's still an abomination. Just because it's small doesn't mean it's not an abomination. You don't not kill a Daedric rat because it's small. It's still a Daedric
No,
rat.
Maybe
You
it's a
just smash
Daedric
it.
worshiper too. Look what you're doing.
You just, I mean, like, I don't kill them, but like maybe if you like worship the divines or something, you might. I don't know. I don't necessarily go around banishing Daedra in my spare time, but
Why not?
I'm offended by all of this.
See, Ark has his, we'll call them points, but do you really want to accept any advice from a guy who jumps into toilets? I mean, come on.
That's to be
This
fair.
again.
I don't think
Well-
this is ever going away.
No, and to be fair, my tales largely revolve around Murkmire. Less flushing than your tales, but still
Murkmire is
very Murkmire. It is probably the prettiest toilet in Tamriel, to be fair. That final area, very, very nice.
Yeah.
We are never gonna continue with the rest of
I'm
the
so
show.
happy right now. This is
No.
the best show ever.
Aggelos is doing
Just-
everything in his power to just cut the show
Aggelos-
right now. He's
Hyper smug.
I am pretty proud. I'm getting followers just by, I don't even have to do anything. They're just like, oh, I'm rallying with Ag, because clearly.
okay. Can I move on with the show?
Sure.
Okay, we are. Yeah. So, as of last week, we added a new section called Behind the Scenes Update, and this week's, I was just gonna say, our current aim is consistency. Right, that's what we are after at the moment. Because last week we didn't really have any problems with Discord, although we are having a little cut, every now and then a little cuts in the audio, as far as I can tell, this
Yep.
week. But our current objective is consistency, so we can have some surprises for you all if we can get this quality and stability going forward. So that's what we are gonna do moving forward. Skipping that very quickly, we have news. Finally, 1 hour into the show, we reached our one of the main sections,
Hey.
which is the news.
Hey,
What?
all I'm going to say is you guys were, you had a bunch of people saying, hey, can I have my 2-hour shows? I was just making sure you could get there.
Yeah, but see, my thing, it's 5 a.m. I was planning to go back to sleep today. How am I? It's
No.
okay. It's okay.
I think your sleeping days are long gone on Friday
Your
to
sleeping
Saturday
days
now.
are over. That seems to be yeah. It's
Yep.
fine. It's fine. So, there is an Elsweyr celebration event, the ESO Tavern in Germany.
Germany, correct?
Weiss,
Yes.
Wiesbaden. I have no idea.
I got
But it will be in the
that's
show notes.
better
I don't
than I
speak
can do.
German.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it will be Friday, May 31 from 12 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. EDT. So the actual time is 6 p.m. The actual time is 6 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. Central European Time. It will be in Aggelos. I have no idea. It will be in the link below. I can't read it.
Again, better than I could probably pronounce.
Yeah. So you'll be able to lead the lead UI designer, community managers, and other special guests and other people from the community there. You need to send them an email at community_de@bethsofteurope.com and just let them know that you want to join. They will also have a shuttle from Wiesbaden Central Station to the place that the event is taking place. You can find all the information in the link down below wherever you are watching the show. There will also be apparently more taverns planned, like in Cologne with Gamescom, and they will be releasing the event. So if you're able to go to Europe, or if you are already in Europe, you can go there and meet a lot of people from around the mainly European section of Elder Scrolls Online, as well as some of the developers. So actually, this is a topic we want to talk about, but I'm gonna leave this to last. This is a D&D adventure thing, but I'm gonna talk about that the last.
Yeah,
So
so
they
seems like
really-
a good way
yeah.
to end this.
Yeah. So they released an article on Sunspire trial explaining the things, but I'm not going to go into detail. I just want to say you get a skin for completing the veteran trial, and then if you do all the achievements like hard mode, speedrun, and things like that, you get a mount, which is something I think Aggelos will like. So I wanted to mention this. Like this has been an ongoing topic for Tales of Tamriel, that giving mounts for hardcore stuff that we do in the game. And so the previous one was Maw of Lorcage, right? The one that gave a mount as well.
There's
None gave mounts.
Yeah.
no other mount.
How did we get? I thought Maw of Lorcage gave that Dromathra cat
Nope,
skin.
that was you bought that.
Yeah, that was just
Then
for
buying.
5,000 crowns too.
the skin.
Yeah.
Right, it was a skin as well. So is this the first mount we get as
Other than the Indrix, yes.
And the
You do
Summerfall
get-
event.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but is it like
Well,
hardcore
this-
achievement reward?
That was sort of
Yeah.
purchased. You needed to own Somerset to be involved with
Yeah.
so that one's a little like 50-50.
And
then-
also, you had to do it at the time. This ain't something you can go,
Yeah.
oh,
Right,
how do I do
you
this
can't go
sometime
back and
down
do
the
it.
road? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But yeah, this will be the first content mount that is required for like completing something as a difficulty challenge.
Yeah. That's gonna be hard. I will never see that mount, but
That is gonna be brutal.
I won't be ever seeing it either. So in addition to that, we have actually a very short video of Alfred Monila, the voice actor of Abner Tharn, talking about voicing Abner Tharn. I wanted to show this because it really explains why I love Abner Tharn as a character. Also, it's a nice video, so and it will give me
this
time
was,
to
like,
rest
really
my
interesting.
voice. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm gonna mute us.
I am Abner Tharn, advisor to emperors for well over 100 years. I most recently served as the Grand Chancellor and the Imperial Battle Mage for Varan Aquilaros.
Well, Abner Tharn is he's an old wizard. He's political, he's manipulative, he can be charming and ruthless. He has a definite sense of humour, but it's more or less the kind of humour where he's basically deriding and sort of ridiculing others. He seems to have a very high standard in terms of performance, and people are other characters are woefully fall short, it seems, and he's not shy about letting you know how he feels. But hugely intelligent, very much in control. He's all the things that the actor voicing him is not, basically.
Try not to let the carnivorous plants consume you. Getting eaten by mostly stationary creatures doesn't help one's reputation. Or so I've heard.
I approach this like the way I'd approach any character I play. You look at the text, you get all the clues from the text, all the contradictions, you look at the linguistic style of the character. Is this a character that uses a lot of alliteration or not? Is it a character? Is this a character that likes the sound of their own voice, for instance? And I think Abner Tharn definitely does like the sound of his own voice. I mean, I think he uses language in a very interesting and sort of passive-aggressive way. I mean, I'm looking at a line right now. He says, "Given your relative unimportance." Now, there's something really interesting about that structure. I mean, he could have just said, "Shut up, you're not important." But he's, given your relative unimportance. It's good writing.
Gather the dusk mushrooms and head for Derailed camp. As soon as I take care of the shadow that's been following me, I'll meet you there.
So all the lines that I've enjoyed have always been the ones where he's being slightly kind of sarcastic. When he's kind of praising someone, and he basically says, "Your technique seems adequate, if a bit unrefined." And there's something wonderfully camp about that.
Ah, the distinctive smell of Daedric sorcery. It's as atrocious as it is pervasive.
He likes language, and he's sort of he's not afraid to use it. It's always very satisfying to voice characters who are kind of a little self-aware, because it gives you a clue as to how to play it.
I assume my qualifications meet with your approval.
But I like him. He's got a kind of... it's very classical in a way. Kind of, I can imagine him being a character in like a Shakespeare play. There's a sort of, there's a kind of elegance to him and a danger as well. I'd like to know what a dusk mushroom looks like now.
Like this right here.
So yeah, that was the I love Abner Tharn, and after watching this video, I love Alfred as well.
I was gonna say that dude is a real good voice actor.
Yeah, it's
He
so
slips in and out of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say they sound so similar.
Yeah, I know, it's so close to his like real speaking voice.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I'm so impressed by voice acting. It's something I wish I was able to do, like even as a hobby. It's more interesting to me than actual acting, because you really do not know what the character is until you voice it. Like, you give the characteristic to the character. That's, I don't know, it's a fun thing. And knowing that these guys most of the time are able to like voice a huge range of different characters, accents, and voices, like, how do you change your voice that much and still hold a conversation in that voice without breaking character for a long, for like a long sentence? I mean, if I were, it's an impressive thing to me, but yeah, he has my favorite line as well. Given your relative unimportance,
That's so great.
Yeah.
All right, where are my notes? There we go. So that was the Alfred Monila talks Abner Tharn, and I will. The more of these that they release, the more of them I will put on the show as well.
Yeah, they're kind of neat.
Yep. Which brings us to the topic we just mentioned. So basically what happened is Elder Scrolls Online, and mainly Bethesda Netherlands, if I didn't misunderstand this, released released an adventure, the D&D, or rather tabletop adventure, for promotion of Elsweyr release. So what a tabletop adventure basically is, or D&D is, for anyone who doesn't know, you have a pre-made or I forgot the word, improvised storyline. One person tells the dungeon master explains the world and everything and plays every NPCs and things like that, and you, the player, go through it in character. So it's based on role playing mostly, and a lot of calculation depending on the system you are playing, but it's basically just you are playing an RPG on tabletop by rolling dices and things like that, having character sheets. And Bethesda Netherlands released a pre-made adventure for this with quests, characters, things like that. The problem is apparently it's almost an exact copy from an adventure called The Black Road, released by the Wizards of the Coast, which is one of the one of the most well-known and complete the sentence form. There we go.
They're basically the only producers of D&D content.
There we go. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, that's all you got.
And obviously this quickly caught the attention of those who know the Black Road, and ZeniMax pulled the adventure off, saying, okay, we are gonna research into this and try to figure out how this happened. But that's obviously not enough for a lot of people, and this has been going around in a new PR, not nightmare level, but it's a negative PR.
It's still not good. It's not a good look.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a PR nightmare. I think it's a legal.
Well, I mean, it might have some legal problems, but I mean, PR wise, I mean, it's another thing. Now, granted, it's Bethesda Netherlands, which is, under the umbrella of Bethesda, which is under ZeniMax. It's like, it's another thing controversy wise relating to the company who basically has just had one controversy after another for going on a straight up year now almost. So
I mean, it's not yet a legal problem because I don't think Wizards of the Coast made any any announcements regarding that.
They push for it. I'm curious. I just wonder if they are kind of gonna give them the stink eye now that it's gone and been like, all right, like, what was that all about? Or if they will pursue something further. And I mean, obviously, whoever it was that, I'm not even going to give them credit to say that they typed this up. But whoever copied and pasted the thing and changed a couple words, and not even words, literally names from it. I read a couple pages and I was like, oh my God. That dude, I assume, is going to have to deal with some repercussions in the company in and of itself. And otherwise.
I'm just disappointed because I was really looking forward to this, and then it was cool. I didn't have a chance to actually read it, so I didn't realize what was going on. But the character sheets and this is something that I think a lot of people would be interested in is in Elder Scrolls Tabletop, and I think it would have been a cool thing had they done it correctly, and they would have been able to eventually, if they had broadened it, to make a decent chunk of change off of it.
Yeah.
Done right.
And I've seen a bunch of people write stuff about, well, they weren't selling it, they weren't doing anything like that, so it's not a really big deal. First off, it still is sort of a big deal because it was all and out plagiarism, 100%. Yeah. I know some people are like, oh, it's just a guy who made it for his friends. Okay. Whose bright idea was it at Bethesda to go, hey, we should release that without doing the due diligence of legitly copying and pasting the entire thing into Google, and it would have brought it up because they literally only replaced 3 words. They didn't even change the names of some characters. They left them to be the exact same as it was within the Black Road.
I saw that one of the characters was the exact same name, except in the D&D one, it was a female, and in the Elder Scrolls one, it was a male.
Copy
that
replace.
Was what they changed. Yeah. It was just that's not a good look.
And Wizards of the Coast is pretty lenient with that because it is D&D has that kind of, you can take other things and use them and make it your own, and if you really wanted to use it, use the Black Road and make it an Elder Scrolls thing. But they published it, and you've mentioned before, they had an intent to profit indirectly. And I don't know, and part of me is yes, you obviously you cannot do that, but at the same time it's I don't know, it was a Dropbox file. It didn't seem to be very official.
The real problem is that it came from a Bethesda account, even if it's just the Netherlands one. That's really and it could have been something simple, because the TES online account just kind of retweeted their post of it. Which is kind of them, it's not their job to fact check, fact check another branch. Right. So they're just oh, this is kind of a neat little thing. It should not have come out to begin with from the initial Bethesda Netherlands thing. You know what I mean? They should have caught that.
I'm sorry, but I actually disagree with you there.
Really?
It is the Bethesda deal to fact check their stuff. Anyone who's given permission
I agree with
for
that.
A social media account, all social media accounts actually need to be monitored. So first off, Bethesda is over there releasing, Netherlands released something on their Twitter or whatever social media.
Yep.
that person does have a responsibility to make sure whatever they're releasing is approved by the corporate head.
100% agree.
Mhm.
Given everyone else who probably retweeted it, maybe if there's not a communication, but that should have been something that should have been communicated across the board. Because I'm sorry, if one of my employees posts something about the place I work, I don't go retweeting it. I don't go doing that until I find out from HR whether or not they were actually allowed to say such thing.
But here's the thing. You
follow
can.
what you're trying to say.
I mean, you can communicate like that within the company and building you're in, but one is ZeniMax Online in US and the other is Bethesda Netherlands, all the way there. So they are very completely different branches. So I agree with Lotus. It was Bethesda Netherlands' job to fact check it, not ZeniMax Online's.
But ZeniMax Online, it's still controlled by the global ZeniMax Media,
is what you're saying.
That's that excuse of whether or not one of my remote branches makes a problem. If one of our remote branches violates FDIC regulations, they don't get shut down. The whole bank does.
Okay, but I mean, this is okay. That's an extreme thing. ZeniMax
and you're saying that Bethesda
the
Netherlands is gonna be the one footing the bill should they get sued by Wizard of the Coast? No,
right? They're not going to sue just that. Well, so here's, I guess, kind of on this topic of who has what onus on them to take, responsibility. It kind of brings me to the thing that I've been saying quite a bit recently is I'm worried ZeniMax is overextending, like as a company, not ZeniMax Online Studios. I mean, they've got their project, you know what I mean, and whatever they're doing in the background, that's fine. And then you've got Bethesda Game Studios and id Software, all these things. I mean, ZeniMax Online Media as a whole. I feel like they should maybe halt further expansion for a while because they do keep getting into these weird binds, be it their fault in many cases or not. I mean, as much as I like Bethesda, and as overall I don't mind ZeniMax as a company either. I mean, they haven't really done anything that I'm too opposed to, but they might want to stop with so much expansion across so many things because these things slip by, and they're slipping by kind of a lot recently, regardless of how big they are. So where they're at, it's fine. They don't need to condense in size, but I would hope that they might think about spending more time bolstering up their infrastructure to the point where the size they're at now is stable and things are checked properly, and they stop starting these little fires. Because again, a little fire you can stomp out. 76 little fires, it's starting to get hard to stop them all out.
I see what you did there. Way to go. I like that.
Yeah, so and that's what I mean. It's like even things that I like, I'm not oblivious to. There are jokes to be made because there are. I mean, some of the stuff is blown totally out of proportion with them, and I'm like, okay, like let's rein it in here. Whereas other things, it's like, no, that's a legit problem. Like, you can't just do that. Like, so that's all I hope for is since they make two, actually more than that, if you include Doom and Rage, they make quite a few IPs that I really like. I would like them to become more stable so that it's not, oh, here's a cool announcement. Also, it's marred by this other thing, this side division wasn't paid enough attention to and blah blah blah, and it caused all these things because the Elsweyr hype, everybody's super excited for this. This is just a stupid black mark for no reason. Like, it really is. It's just like, well, that's a downer to some of all the excitement. It's just like, ugh.
And maybe it'll go away, but if this actually results in a lawsuit or something along those, and it's gonna be bad.
And when you get a little Sue happy, which they're known for being, people aren't, I wouldn't imagine, as willing to let something go when you're constantly pointing the gun at somebody else. Well, it's like, okay, well, it's tough to expect people to then
Right.
not do it back. Is all.
Yeah, and I mean, so as someone who plays D&D, like I'm in 2 campaigns. I run one of them. I play in another D&D campaign. Like, it's something I enjoy, and I imagine there are other people in the ESO community that play and love Dungeons and Dragons just as much. But I just if it does result in a lawsuit, you are going to lose people because there are people who are going to take sides in this.
Mm-hmm.
You have essentially offended the godfather of Dungeons and Dragons, and you just that is a large and a very growing population of people.
Mm-hmm. And you share the demographic with quite a bit.
Yeah, right. You have an overlap, and there's going to be an impact if this goes one way or the other. And I don't know. It's interesting.
To be honest, I don't think this will end up in a lawsuit. They would, if anything, they would just settle behind the scenes, because I don't think Wizards of the Coast want to go head to head with, at least wouldn't want to go head to head with ZeniMax Media, because the size
ZeniMax
difference
Media
is, they would swarm it with.
Well, not only that, but they have all those years of court experience.
I was going to say, you want to talk about really, talk about overpowered. Their legal team is OP. I mean, when you fight Facebook about
The
Oculus, and you walk away with basically doubling your company's value, it's like, holy crap, this team is on point. They don't mess around. Now, granted, it did seem like they had some pretty solid legal grounds from when I was reading that, but it's just wow, that's something that not a lot of people are even going to want to try, let alone expect to win.
So that's why I don't think this is going to happen. Also, here's the thing: it might just be an overambitious person in Bethesda Netherlands just going, "Okay, I'm gonna do something like this, and I'm gonna release it on Twitter, and it's gonna be good." That's what I'm saying. ZeniMax Media cannot keep track of all the Twitter posts under his command. It could be just a rogue Twitter person. No, but here's the thing. They
have to, though.
No, they can't. That they need to, but they literally can't. Because let's say I am an employee at I'm a social media guy at Bethesda or ZeniMax Online. I have the thing logged in on my phone. I have the Elder Scrolls Online Twitter account logged in on my phone. One night, I'm sitting down, I'm seeing this, there's some static on
people have been fired for less, though, Ark. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean,
but
here's the thing, the dude will probably be fired. I wouldn't be surprised if he
I would assume he's definitely going to be fired.
But ZeniMax Media
not having something legal brought up against him.
Yeah, I mean, ZeniMax Media can't be okay, every tweet ever going to be sent out of any of our branches will have to go through us first. You will need a massive team to just monitor those tweets in real time, so they could then the entire social media infrastructure would slow down so bad you can't announce anything.
No, but that's just it. That's what needs to happen. And I know what you're saying.
It's not realistic.
But no, it's
a lot easier to throw someone under the bus.
It doesn't matter. You're still legally in trouble for the person that was in your employ.
Yes, you are.
ZeniMax can still get sued for having an employee who breaks the law.
Yes, but here's the thing. What I'm saying is the building a team that massive to real-time monitor every post you ever send out on social media will cost them more money in the long run than the off chance of someone messing up and causing a lawsuit.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
When you're balancing your, what do you prioritize in that situation? Which is money. Actually, ironically, to both of your points, that's kind of, I think, what they're doing is they're hedging their bets. They're big enough to this point. I mean, they've come a long way from the Morrowind. We made this game in a basement with, what was it, 18 or 20 of them or whatever. And it's now it's they are enormous. So they hedge their bets. It's a gamble on who works for you, but at the same point, provided nobody, I almost screwed that up by not censoring myself. If somebody messes up and does something like this, you got to kind of decide, okay, well, it's cheaper to clean this mess up than to functionally try to stop it going forward, I guess.
See, that's not a good excuse.
Oh no, it's not.
It's not, and
it's not a good business strategy.
No,
So-
it can result in some terrible things that they may never be able to recover from. What happens if the person you hire to be your social media expert or whatever, they're doing their thing, or rather yet, they're not monitoring their tweets, and someone thinks, hey, it's logged onto my phone, and they go to their 4chan account and start, I don't know, they post child pornography. Well, guess what? That's now a federal problem.
Yes.
And you think it's funny. It's happened in the past.
Oh no,
Really?
and that's the thing is,
Yes.
people
Who
will,
did that?
I'll pull up. There's been a bunch of stuff. Like people have posted like nude selfies and stuff because they thought they were sending it to somebody, like their significant other, and it posted to a company social media.
Oh man.
No, so social media, as good as social media is, when it goes bad, good lord, there's almost no way to hide how bad it can go.
And I think on like a positive, looking at this, trying to like kind of see maybe where they might have done something right with this whole like issue, is that they did clean it up somewhat. Like everything was taken down within 24 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say they did jump on that quick. I mean, granted, it was brought to their attention,
Right. So I mean, like, yes, it had to be brought to their attention for it to come down, but it was within 24 hours that everything was like, they're like, it's taken down. They sent out a series of tweets, and I can't remember, but they're like, if you printed it already, please stop circulating it out of respect for Wizards of the Coast. Don't try and print it out of respect for the company. They're like, this is just don't be rude, basically.
Yeah.
But like, they tried to put it out really fast.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying,
hopefully Wizard
realistically,
sees that and goes, no, we're not going to do anything.
Yeah,
because it did the
this
right
was
thing.
a screw up, but like just pay more attention in the future. Not
Right.
we're going to try to rake you over the coals. Type.
I mean, to be
Yeah.
honest, at this point, Wizard of the Coast trying to follow up with a lawsuit would just look like them trying to snatch whatever they can from ZeniMax because there's an opportunity. Because this is really not a okay.
But
We are gonna.
ZeniMax has done it.
Well, that's the only concern.
But
Is
here's the thing:
they're kind of
the public face of, or rather, how the public views ZeniMax and how the public sees Wizard of the Coast is very, very different from each other.
You're right.
Yeah.
People
Wizards
love
of the
Wizard
Coast
of the
is
Coast.
almost people aren't necessarily happy with Bethesda ZeniMax right now
Right.
in almost any case. I
Yeah.
mean, this goes back to social media issues such as, hey, since we're talking about the 76 problems, let's kind of bring this into other social media snafus. The idea of releasing the holiday pack and then marking it down as 2,400 Atom things and then marking it down for 1,200. But that's not a discount. They released it at that, which is illegal in most of the EU, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. It's deceptive marketing.
it's
not illegal.
That was such a dumb move when they did that. I was like, guys, seriously, you have one person fact check this, and you would have like realized this. Like, what?
And
What are you doing?
I could see if it was just a U.S. company who did that, because it's deceptive marketing, but there's not quite the laws in the States for that. But they're an international company. They have to know what your laws are, and they should have known that putting something up as a discount, like to create that sense of urgency, which is deceptive marketing, is illegal in half of the world. And yet they did it anyway, until it was brought to their attention, and then they fixed it.
Right.
Oh! We already know they have a huge legal team, so someone should have been like, hey, that's probably not a good idea, but they didn't.
Right.
I think this goes for almost all massive corporations. It's easy to do, like it's cheaper and easier to do damage control than to prevent the damage in the first place.
Yes.
That's what people have pointed that out, like several times in chat the entire night.
Yeah,
it's easier to put out
which
a
is
fire
just-
than to prevent them.
The problem is that's just so crappy.
Until it becomes a fire you can't control anymore.
Right.
Sure,
Until you
yeah.
don't have a wildfire key.
And then you don't have a company.
Here's the thing. Until
be an
then,
EA.
until that point, you made so much money. You no longer need the company, I guess. I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's
sure.
that's the logic.
The
I don't
C-level
know.
execs.
I never
C-level
had-
execs
yeah.
made it.
I mean, I
Well,
never
your devs
had
are
that much
fired.
money or a company like that, so it's just wild guess. And I didn't study business or whatever, so I'm just, at this point, it's
funny,
just
that's why
I
since
learned these from
since they're
movies.
privately traded. That's why I've always kind of hoped that, not that means you're exempt from things, but they aren't. They have their board members. They don't have stockholders. So yes, obviously people are going to want to make money. It's a business. That's the point to this. Yes, these things are fun. It's great, but there is a business side to all of this. I always hope that since these people are kind of long-term invested in this thing for the most part, as opposed to an Activision, an EA, where it's very much the long-term gains don't matter because our stockholders and our investors will jump in, jump out as the market fluctuates. Well, since this isn't public facing, these people are much more ingrained with this company. So you don't really want to burn your IP for the point of making a quick buck, because all that did was give you a quick cash infusion, and then it's like, oh crap, like my long-term gains just crapped out, which is a very different set than some, EA or something like that, where that's the main goal. Like, obviously, if you can cash in quick and you burn an IP and you move on, but you keep kind of recycling it, that's ideal situation. But they can always bail and dump their stock. Not quite the same thing. So that's kind of the only saving grace I kind of hope sticks with this, where it's like damaging their brand is basically damaging their livelihood as well. So I would hope they would not want to do that, especially with how big this company has gotten over the years. They know what they're doing. Keep doing it. Don't lose focus. Like,
right.
Yeah, so that was all the things about, I guess. I mean, we covered it pretty in detail, I suppose, at this point.
and that
Should
was
we
your
wrap
legal
up, or
discussion for the evening on Tales.
we need a lawyer in the crew, like
I was just
for
gonna
moments
say,
like
not
this.
one
like-
of us has actual legal
Right,
training.
Okay, tales.
Yes.
Ag, do you have any tales?
No.
Okay,
I've not
Promethean-
played anything this week at all. Like, literally nothing.
only
I'm
you had played.
in a
I've
similar
been
position.
reviewing legal contracts all week. I'm not even kidding. I've been doing nothing but reviewing legal contracts, vendor due diligence, and all that fun stuff.
See, so you were just doing your homework for that previous section. That was Tales.
Oh, yeah.
James Stein says, you guys need a lawyer from Bethesda as a guest. Yeah, I mean, at this point, we don't want a developer on the show. We want a
we need
lawyer.
a lawyer.
He's just going to raise one eyebrow and look displeased at whoever's currently talking.
The whole show, though.
The entire show, I cannot
I
comment.
cannot comment.
Allegedly.
Objection!
Every time you say, like, ZeniMax, Bethesda has plagiarized, say, allegedly plagiarized.
Yes,
Allegedly.
everything we say, he just allegedly.
But you could copy
Allegedly.
it to Google. You could allegedly copy it to Google.
I love this new expansion. You allegedly love this new expansion. Come on, that one.
Actually, before we continue, I want to restart the call. Because we are at
weird.
that point. Yeah, we are at that point. It's getting sort of
Funky.
funky. Yeah. Let's
Sure.
do it. I'm not gonna get them back in the call.
Oh my god.
All right, welcome back.
Wow.
Hello.
Let's see if this actually helps. If this helps, we are gonna confirm one thing that over the
basically a hard
time
timer.
in a call, in a single time during a call, Discord server, like I don't know, maybe we get allocated a server for this specific call, and it just borks over
It's
time.
5 hours.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, it hasn't been 5 hours, so
no,
why our
but
call
it's
quality
after
goes
5
down.
hours, you'll get kicked off a call. Like legitly, they
No,
won't
it'll
let your
just
call.
disconnect you. Oh no, I'm just curious why it borks at like a little
yeah,
over
after an hour, like for the first hour, we were very fine, and after the first hour, like it started to have drops in, like cuts off, things like that.
Yeah.
So maybe restarting will help. If it helps, we are just gonna do that every time. Moving forward, we are just gonna
Right.
restart the call because it's not.
We'll just start a new episode every hour.
Yeah. Why not?
Restart the call. Welcome to Tales of Tamriel 204. I like it.
So Promethean, do you have any tales?
I don't, but someone requested a song, so that will be my tales whenever we get to that. Whenever we want to do that.
All right, we're gonna do that the last then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's got to be the closer.
So my tales is that I completed for the first time a veteran trial, Itharian Archive with the Drunkenborns of Eleanor's Guild, and it went pretty well. We only wiped once at the Wisp Mother boss because someone killed the mushroom copy, and then only the two tanks, me and Spank, survived the blast. Everyone else died. Wait, I don't know if we actually wiped. Oh yeah, we wiped because after that the next blast killed us all. But
I was gonna say we were able to piece it together, not so much.
So yeah, we did that. Next week, I think it's Helra Citadel. So basically, we are for the first time started doing veteran trials, and I'm happy about that. Itharian Archive was a bit easy, except I was holding the axes. Now,
Okay, that's actually what I was going to ask you.
Holding the axes is not the problem. I can hold the axes. The problem is targeting the axes.
Yeah.
I hate their hitbox. They're like, every now and then, one of them starts flying away. And I'm like, I'm trying to taunt that specific axe with inner rage from a range, but I taunt the boss, the other axe, everything else but that one axe. And one of the other problems is my AoE color is purple. I don't use it. I use purple. So the axe
you might want
is
to
just
change that just for that.
yeah, axe is just blended in with the background completely. So I was like, I don't see them. So every now and then, our healer or the other tank goes, okay, there's an axe on the loose. And I'm like, where is it? I start running around so I can find it in a different background than the ground. But we completed that without wiping as well. So I'm looking forward to... Yeah, go ahead.
So just curiosity about the axes, because I dislike the axe thing, so to speak. So you were trying to drag them back over with inner rage, obviously. How are you holding them in place, just out of curiosity, up on the rock?
I wasn't even on the rock. No one told me about the rock, so I was just...
Okay, ouch. Then they made your life harder than needed to be.
I was running around avoiding the AoEs from other things.
Okay.
You shouldn't be running around. That's
Yeah,
made everyone else's lives harder.
So okay, that could have been smoother for you, because I have had issues with the axes not paying attention to me before as well. But it's usually this is why I asked. It's a result of lag, actually, when I lose them. Because there's a rock, you can pull them to the outer level of the arena, and there's a rock you can stand on.
Yeah, someone told me after the fight, yeah.
Yeah, all right, well, that's rough. So that makes your life much easier, because you just stand, you pull them initially with inner fire, you get them over to you. Or this is how I do it. I mean, there's probably better ways to do it or other ways to do it or whatever. And when you're on that rock, I believe it's deep breath or whatever. If you cast that, it will hit the area in front of you, and it will pull the aggro of them back to you because of the damage you do. So you don't need to basically waste anything on taunts. And then the rest of the time, you literally block when they hit. And when they go back to swing, you heavy attack to regen your resources, and you just rinse and repeat that circle. If you ever get low, have one of the healers throw you a shard, or an orb. That's pretty much it. That has always worked for me, except when I'm very laggy. At which point, that breath does nothing, and they do whatever the hell they want, and they just fly around. And there was one of the runs that I was in, I literally couldn't even puncture them back to me. They just did not care. They were just like, no, we're just going to start getting rid of these mages off to the side. And they just started murdering random people. And that's why I was just curious what your approach was. But it sounds like you had done it differently.
I didn't have any approach, basically.
Hey, it worked. You beat it. So
yeah. My approach was doing nothing.
Fair enough.
That's good.
So yeah, next week is Halra Citadel, I think, and from that on, hopefully, if we can keep the number up, hopefully we'll move on to the more difficult trials like Halls of Fabrication, Asylum Sanctorium.
No, not any of the other ones, just not. No Halls of Fabrication.
We did Halls of Fabrication on normal, and GOR, basically he's the raid leader, or rather get good leader of the guild. He forces everyone to... basically anyone new joining the guild or the game for the first time, he is happy for a week until Geo realizes there is someone new to prey on. And then he's like, do this, do that, level this up, get this gear, farm this. And he shapes them into an endgame player by the force of getting good, basically. So, I mean, he's the reason we are now able to do veteran trials as the guild, so I'm not complaining. But we were doing normal House of Fabrication, and we had a random person, because we were missing one person, and someone pulled a random from one of their guilds. And he wasn't on Discord. And now, here's the thing. Geo, if he is happy, he talks, right? He shouts at you, he gives commands, things like that. But the more frustrated he gets, the quieter he goes. So in House of Fabrication Final Fight, in House of Fabrication Final Fight, you have to stay still during the poison phase or whatever. I don't know why you have to stay still.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the logic behind it, but Geo says stay still, and everybody does, because he knows what he's doing, so we trust him and we stay still. Then there's this guy, he's like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He's twitching, and Geo's like,
I wasn't playing
typing
with you
in
guys.
DPS stance.
And Geo's typing in chat like, dude, stay still, and he's like, I'm staying still, and while he's saying that, I'm reading in chat, because there's nothing you do, I just block and look at the screen in that phase.
Right.
And he's writing, I'm staying still while moving towards Geo. Like, very slowly. Ever slowly. And Geo dies, and he's like, I'm waiting for him to rage, and just doesn't say anything anymore. He just goes quiet. Doesn't type in chat, doesn't say anything in Discord, doesn't give any comments, and I'm like, he's frustrated. He's
contemplating murder.
I was enjoying the murderous silence of Geo way too much, but a House of Fabrication on veteran, I can't even imagine.
He turned his mic off and is sitting there, sweet mother, sweet mother.
I will. The fabrication is not my thing. It looks cool, but like I was saying in chat, I just so many runs for so many hours, and it was just like this is literally becoming a job to me. I don't. This is just. Good God.
Halls of Fabrication is about the only MMO raid that ESO has.
It's really funny, and I've heard that too. Which is kind of why I don't necessarily disagree with you about from an MMO, this is kind of very, very easy, user-friendly, casual, however you want to put it. Because I feel like that might be the only reason that it's hooked me.
Probably, yeah.
I'm not a big MMO person. I'm a very big Elder Scrolls person. But it's just enough MMO to not bother me. Mm-hmm. But way more Elder Scrolls where it's like, you know what? And there are some things that I do like, But I wonder if when it tilts too far into MMO, those are some of my least favorite things.
Mhm.
Oddly enough, when the game first came out, it was more MMO than anything. And I
Oh.
mean, arguably, the numbers spoke for itself. While I loved it more than almost anybody, I'm also
Most
an MMO player.
Right. No, you're 100% right. And at the start, I didn't get in on the beta, but I was kind of watching some of my friends play it and messing with it a little bit on PC while waiting for the console to like launch. And I was like, I guess maybe I could mess around with this or whatever. And I got it as soon as it launched on console. I bought my own version and I played it and I was like, yeah, this is all right. I like this. And then when one Tamriel hit, I went from being like, yeah, okay, I enjoy what this is to, yeah, I'm all in. Like this is totally my thing now. So
Right.
Yeah. So Lotus, do you have Tales? Well,
I do.
think you
Most of mine
All
are pretty short. I have a bunch of little things, I guess.
right.
Because I have not had too much game time either. I wanted to just shout out the Lore Seekers for helping me. My RNG throughout the anniversary event was crap for a very long time, and it got better at the end. And with the help of some other people, it's amazingly, I got every style page to all of the companion outfits.
Nice.
When
Okay.
the first week, I got 4 sets of profit wraps, and that was it. So I figured I was screwed. But in the end, I did enough of the things, and through trading, and a couple people gifted me some stuff from Lore Seekers and some other outlets that I'm friends with, I managed to complete all of them. So much to my amazement, I have all of the style pages from the event, and I am no longer doing writs on all of my characters. It's back to just Arkhaniir and my main character. So that's nice. I'm tired of doing like 400 writs a day. I like writs, but good lord. What else did I do? Well, as I had mentioned, I had beaten Blades, but I'm still building the town just because it's kind of fun. And I'm trying to make myself some dragon bone armor just because people keep telling me that you can't do it without loot crates and blah, blah, blah. And I'm really getting tired of the amount of times I've been told you can't do this without spending money. And at this point, I'm running out of things I haven't conquered in the game. And the only thing I bought was a pretty little statue because I gave him $20 and I was like, I don't know what to do with all this in-game money. I just gave you $20 because that's what I felt like paying for the game. So I'm just kind of sitting on a mountain of gems for no purpose. But whatever, I don't need them. It's just, it is what it is. So I'm trying to make myself some dragon bone armor just because it looks cool. It's very similar to the Skyrim style. Not exactly the same, but
All right.
what else? I completed Murkmire. Well, the main story. There's some floater side quests and stuff, but I completed Murkmire.
Yeah.
The end of that was very good. It took me a while to get into it, but the end of it was like pretty rewarding. I will not spoil the choice I made, but I was pleased with the choices you were allowed to make, and it actually made me think about what I wanted to do, which I thought was pretty cool because I was like, oh man, both of these have potential, and I ended up going with the one that I wanted. But yeah, very cool. Lots of cool screenshots that I figure I'll post now that I'm done, and I'll leave them ambiguous so I don't ruin anything for anybody.
Right.
But the environments get very cool at the end too. So
Actually-
overall, Murkmire, a pleasant surprise.
I could get some screenshots because I ran out of screenshots to put as the episode thumbnails or our starter screens, things like that. I've used everything I have. I mean, I've been trying to do like episode related screenshots, but
Yeah.
they are gone as well. Like for this episode, I don't know what to put. I've no idea. Like, maybe I should put Alfred Monila, like a huge
Well, I can
voice
send you some.
actor.
I've got a bunch. I
Yeah.
started spacing out when you're in the what is it, the Dream Walk or whatever it's called.
Not the one with all the gates.
No, like when you do a
Okay.
bunch of drugs
Yeah.
and you
Mhm.
get that like weird like some of those like areas where you're just walking through the swamps with the trees and stuff. They just look super, super cool. So yeah, it's very, very visually impressive looking environments toward the end because it gets weird. Like it gets kind of out of the swampy stuff and into weird, surreal, swampy stuff. Let's see. Guaranir is almost a master enchanter now after the event. I believe he's 42. So that will be his third skill line that he is maxed out, which is really awkward. Because this was a joke that keeps going.
At this point, he's gonna become better than my main character. Like my main character. Come on.
That's the end goal. And then the last thing that is kind of just a precursor to what will be coming up. When I first joined you guys on the show, I had started Shadowkey on apparently a way sketchier emulator than I thought, because I can't find this thing again. And everything I see is people are like, oh, there's no reliable way to play Shadowkey without owning an N-Gage. So I went on eBay and I bought an N-Gage. So as soon as it arrives, I'm going to start and complete Shadowkey so that I can give.
Wait, how much is an N-Gage right now? How much?
Look,
can
you don't
want to
know how much I've dedicated to buying an N-Gage in Shadowkey.
No, here's the thing. Back when N-Gage first released, I really, really wanted to buy one. Like I was in middle school, something like that. I really wanted to buy one, but instead, my brother, who is older by 5 years, he was like, okay, instead of you getting this, let's combine our money and get a PC instead. Like, convince our parents to get a PC.
Choice
yeah, it was a better choice. But, like, for all these years, I was like, N-Gage. I never got to actually see one. So I'm actually looking at it right now.
If I can figure out a way to somehow stream that piece of garbage, I will.
I don't
know how. Like, I'll do it.
You would. Well, I guess you could put the camera on top. And
that's what I was just thinking.
Yeah. One of my friends suggested that I put a GoPro on my head while I'm looking at the screen.
Actually, this is not too expensive. I found it in a local eBay place, and it's all right. Replaced battery. How did you even find the battery to replace? Dude, this is strange.
Yeah, I know. So I believe my N-Gage was $89 or something like that. Shadowkey was $150. So the game was substantially more than the N-Gage.
Yeah. The price is almost the same though, yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna see what I can do with that, but so people know, I enjoyed the mobile game with blades. Well, you know what? Let's see what Shadowkey brings to the table, because the frame rate was hot trash in the emulator, so who knows what it's going to run like on the actual N-Gage. But that I feel like blades is going to look I might be more of a defender of blades afterwards if Shadowkey could run any worse than it did in that emulator. So we will see how that works. But so that's my future Tales, I suppose, and that would be it for me.
I'm just looking at N-Gage images right now.
It's like a taco. It's a robotic taco. Yes.
Well, actually, let's do the networking on Nern as well before Promethean song and closing up. You do have a networking on Nern, right, Lotus?
Yes, that's a very good point. Hold on, I gotta scroll farther down. There we go. All right, so for networking on Nern this week, this one's a little different than the previous ones, where it's been kind of other listenable people in the community, Twitch streamers, podcasters, whatever. This is actually my I will refer to them as kind of my artist. People saw that my character was done with my guar mount and Inky the Betty Netch, who's always floating alongside me as my consistent pet. I commissioned them. We were just talking, and I commissioned them. I had seen their art, and it was very impressive. So I asked if this would be something they could do. They gave me an incredibly reasonable price, and I can't believe. I think they did it in maybe a day. I couldn't believe how fast they powered through it.
Crazy.
It was so fast, and they asked me, do you want anything changed? I'll be happy to change stuff. And it was kind of just perfect on the first run. I was like, no, that was actually exactly what I had in mind when I mentioned this. So, her tag, they go by MAREAWR. That's the tag on Twitter. It's also their Deviant art. That you can find all their other artwork. They've got a whole bunch. I don't know if you want to put that somewhere. That's just normal page. I looked through it. So I originally wasn't sure how to pronounce it, and I was over complicating it. It's an interesting way of spelling Maria if you read it quickly. Ma-re-ar. And yeah, okay. I know. Because when I brought it up, they just said, like, how would you pronounce it? And I was like, oh, I don't know. It's just Maria. I'm like, oh, that makes much more sense.
The DeviantArt page actually didn't show up, by the way.
No? Did I type it in wrong? Hold on.
Possibly.
I will have to.
While you're fixing that, on a different... after I saw yours, I actually reached out, and once Elsweyr comes out... I'm going to make my necromancer, and I'll finally I have one character for every class. So I'll have 6, and then I'm going to send them pictures of all of them and have them commission a big group photo of all of my characters. So I'm super excited.
Yeah.
To do that. It's going to cost me a pretty penny, but I'm really ready for it.
Yes. I mean, and mine theoretically was more because it's a normal character or whatever. And then why is my phone not loading? But they found a way. They were like, oh no, we could probably do the pets and everything too, which I was like, oh, that's awesome, because those are kind of the only ones I ever use.
Right.
So it's,
I'm super excited. So that'll go up next to my Elsweyr lithograph once I get it and get it all done. So I can't wait.
Oh, I could actually print out my character's thing and have it in the background or something. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I never thought about it.
Yeah, I hadn't. So hopefully once I get it, I'll just check and make sure it's okay with them that I get it maybe blown up onto a bigger postery size or a little bit smaller, and then just frame it and hang it. So, I mean, it should.
Yeah, I want to get mine produced and framed, just because, again, it's exactly kind of what I wanted. Hold on, I'm going to drop it into the show notes because I just clipped it out of the private message. Because clearly, I think it was just
the correct link as well.
Did you?
In the notes. Yeah, right under the.
Okay, I assume whatever I did, I typed it wrong. So
yeah, you just added an extra R at the end.
Oh, that'd be it. Perfect. But yes, so if you ever want commission work done, reasonable price, very impressive. You can take a look. I've got it as my pinned tweet on Lotus of Doom. If you want to take a look at it, see if it's something you like. But it was a first time I've really commissioned something like that before. It's completely, I mean, any commission artwork I've had done for my channel or anything has kind of been for an objective. This was just because after all these years, it's just this is just my character, and it's it's meant enough to me where I was like, this would be kind of neat to have. So strong recommendation of a pretty fantastic artist from the community as a change of pace this time.
Cool. It's definitely a great feeling to have your character drawn. I never would have done it myself, I think, because I wouldn't have considered. Also, the exchange rate makes it ugly to do so, but Ophelia and War got our main dungeon team, the entire main dungeon team, in a commissioned as a group picture as well as our individual characters, and I was like, okay, I like this. And it's still it's an amazing thing. I should actually put it somewhere as well. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I'm gonna drop it in Discord real quick, but not gonna put it on the show at the moment. Also, for me, the sun has risen behind me. If you are watching the live show or the video,
oh dear,
it's now daytime. So, Promethean, I think we are gonna skip the song for this week and
sounds good.
Leave it for the next week because I really need to sleep.
Yeah, you're going to pass away soon.
So you can follow everything we do over at dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. There you can find links to all of our social media, including Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/dungeoncrawlernetwork if you want to help support the show, and consider leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes, and if you do, we can read them on the show. Also consider sending us an email with any questions you have, any discussion topics you have, which we may or may not, but most possibly will use to derail into a whole different world of discussions. But in any case, thank you all so much for joining us on this episode of Tales of Tamriel, and we will see you next time.
When Akatosh slew Lorcan, he ripped his heart right out. He hurled it across Tamriel, and the heart was heard to shout, red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. The laughing heart sprayed blood afar, a gout on Seer it fell, and like a dart shot to its mark down in an alien well. Magic effused the Lorcan blood to crystal red and strong. Then wild elves cut and polished it down to Chimel at a ball. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. When elves lost Nirn to men, Akatosh gave the stone to Saint Alesh in token of her right to sit the throne. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. Red diamond, protect us till the end.